Everybody in their life who is looking for a better life, who is looking to get closer to Hashem, who is looking for peace, who's looking for real truth, who's looking for something better, is going to be confronted by a stark reality. And that is the thing that they're shooting for is not what they see in the world. The thing that they're running after is not what they see. Why would Hashem do that to us? Why doesn't Hashem make it clearer for us? If the whole reason we come to this world, like the Ramchal says, is that we should experience all the good, right? He wants to give us all the good. So just help us to experience it. Thank you. Oh, cool. It's to experience all the good. So let me see it. The issue is the good is called Emunah. The issue is that the good is called Emunah. And if the good is called Emunah, how can Hashem give you Emunah if you don't need it? Do you understand that? If I could be making no money and I could be making a lot of money and I feel the exact same way, and another guy only feels good when he makes a lot of money, who is experienced a greater level of good?
The one who could feel good without making money.
There you go.
But what are typically the reasons Hashem would test somebody like that?
Emunah, because you don't have Emunah yet.
But there are people that don't have a munah that do.
Okay, Yofi, and they may not be looking for the truth.
And they're not aware.
And they're not aware.
Zombies.
Listen, we need to understand. We need to understand something. We need to understand something. Every person I speak to, this person has debt like you can't imagine. Debt. This person has issues with his wife like you can't imagine. This person has health issues you can't fathom. This person, kids, can't imagine. This person can't sit down because he has some ridiculous attention deficit disorder. So close it. Really? It's all about you. Go ahead. It's all about me? Yes. Just don't wear the Yankees hat anymore because it's embarrassing. I love you. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Another guy has inner thoughts that are going on in his head. You look at him, he speaks, you think he's normal. You talk to him, everybody's around him, this is the nicest, sweetest guy. And you don't know that the thoughts that are going on in his head are the scariest thoughts you could ever imagine in your life. Another person comes home and his self-esteem is so low that every single thing he hears, anything, hey, what are you doing today? Why are you saying that to me? And all of a sudden, everybody has something. Why does everybody have something? Everybody has something.
To improve themselves.
Why? Because the only way out is Emunah. Because everybody needs some impetus, needs some causal factor that will push them to Emunah. Because the whole reason you came down to this world and have to struggle in this world and go through the difficulties and challenges of your life from the beginning until the end is to acquire the ultimate good, which is called Emunah. And if Hashem does not bring you to that place and he brings you down here, you don't know how much Hashem suffers when you suffer. Rabbi Nachman says that when a Jew cries because he's suffering, those tears are Hashem's tears. He's crying through you. That is such a deep thing. That when a Jew is in such pain that he's crying, he's literally crying Hashem's tears because he would be taking away from you the good that he brought you to this world for. He brought you to this world to experience that good. And if he doesn't bring you to that place and he makes you suffer like that for no reason, that would be the cruelest thing in the world. And Hashem is not cruel.
I don't get it. What's the whole...
Emunah. Emunah means I don't know. Not knowing is painful when you don't have Emunah. But when you have Emunah, then it's like you know. Again, I just gave the example to Eli. He gave me an example. I'm struggling with money. Why would Hashem do this to me? Why can't Hashem help me? Where is the good in it? And I gave to him a very clear, very tangible example. If I told Eli 3 years from now, he's going to hit it big in whatever job market he's in. 3 years from now, he's going to start to rack in a lot of money. Not have to worry about it the rest of his life. But for 3 years now, he's going to struggle. Would you be concerned for one day for the next 3 years? Absolutely not. Why not?
Because he knows that he's guaranteed in 3
So-
years that he's going to be good.
So do you know what the issue is? His whole issue when he goes to Ibodah, dude, is I'm not making any money. Does he realize that his issue is not that he's not making money? You realize right now his issue is not that he's not making money. What's the issue?
Emunah.
He doesn't believe it's good for him. It's not the money
He doesn't believe what's good for him.
that he's not making money. Because if he knows that what's going to come out of this is so good, he's going to be so happy not to make any. He's literally going to be happy he's not making money because it's leading to making a lot of money.
He's going to see more good.
Don't go there. Follow the conversation. Follow the situation.
Question.
No, that's not a question. Just because you said it doesn't mean it's a question.
How's it good?
Again, if I told you right now, let's say for someone like me, I struggled with depression my whole life. And my dream in my life is that I should lift everybody up out of darkness. That I should take every single person in the world who's struggling, who's suffering, and I want to be able to literally lift them up no matter what. And Hashem puts me down into a psych ward, and he puts me on every psych med, and I have every single therapeutic modality done to me, every intervention, things that literally destroyed my health. And I knew from the beginning, at the end of all of that, I would go bring redemption to the world. I would do it happily. But why do I suffer for all those years? Because I don't know that. So the issue is not in the suffering. The suffering is not what's causing the pain. The pain is coming from a lack of emunah. I don't know this is good for me. And because I don't know it's good for me, it's painful. And to the degree that I don't know it's good for me and it's painful, to that degree it's painful.
If a person says it out loud, but he really doesn't believe it inside, this is still count.
You have to move away from video game status. It's not about count. It's not about you get a checkpoint. This is not the way Judaism works.
Hashem, you're doing this for me for a reason, but I don't know why you're doing it, but I don't feel it, but I'm just saying it, I know you're doing
So
it.
Hashem, help me to feel in my heart what I believe in my head that this is good for me. You don't know how many times I cried and prayed that before it entered into my heart. You don't know how many times I had to say to Hashem, okay, Rabbeinu convinced me. I believe it, mamish. More than I believe it's daytime out right now, everything is for the good. I believe that, but I don't feel that in my heart, and that's where my pain is. I need you, Hashem, please, to help me to take what's in my head and help it to enter my heart. I need you to. Because I'm investing all of my time and energy in this. I'm giving myself over to you. I'm doing the best that I possibly can. I'm not perfect. I'm struggling. I have many chisronot that you gave me. And I'm sure it's because of maybe it's things that I did in the past. I don't know. I don't know any of those things. All I know right now is I'm doing the best I can. I need more help. This is how I talk to Hashem. This is how Rabbeinu says to talk to Hashem. That you need to bring every single avocation for yourself, every single claim, every single, like he was saying about the Klosenberger Rebbe yesterday or 2 days ago, that he used to argue with Hashem. Now, if you're arguing with Hashem because you don't believe in him, so that's problematic. But if you're arguing with Hashem because you believe in him so much and yet you're struggling, Hashem likes that.
How could you do his Bodhisattva and go to a field and talk to Hashem if you don't believe in him?
Because you heard from one class that this is going to help you and you're struggling and you don't know any other way out.
The thing is, why does that have to be an hour a day? Just so much. I understand, like 15 minutes a day, great. 20 minutes a day.
Well, I don't do an hour all the time.
It's not easy.
I'm
An hour
in
a
the
day
fitness
is like,
industry, and when people can't work out, they say I don't have time to work out. I have no time.
yeah, I hear
Same
that.
people that go to the
Definitely
doctor,
against my nature.
and the doctor tells them you have problem with your heart, the whole schedule changes around, and now all of a sudden they make it a priority to eat healthy and to train and exercise.
For sure.
Can I ask you a
It's the same
question?
thing here.
Can I ask you a question?
For sure. I hear you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. This is not coming from a place.
No. I want you to name me 3 chesronot in your life, 3 lackings in your life.
Lacking?
Yeah, things that bother you.
Okay.
1.
That bother me?
Things that are causing you pain, which you take time to try and deal with. No, I want to hear from him. Just everybody has struggles, so you have struggles. There's some things during the day that stress you out. There are things during the day that cause you inner chaos.
Yeah.
And you spend time during the day to deal with those things. What are those things? Name me a couple of those
For
things.
sure, money.
Money, good.
For sure,
Your neighbor.
For sure, my Hashem less.
Yeah.
I would say definitely Ellie a lot. Think a lot about Ellie.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
Go,
No, I
go.
want you to be
Come on.
serious. Be
Okay,
serious
okay,
for a
please,
second.
Serious?
Money.
It's a lot of it's about money a lot.
What about the money?
So I need to make a lot more of it.
Why?
Why? Because I need to provide for my family.
That's what I'm asking you. I'm asking what's the reason why you don't have enough to provide for your family?
Baruch Hashem, I do, but for my
You want more.
yeah,
Why?
to buy them a house.
Okay. So you want to buy a house, you're not able to, and it's causing you pain.
Sure.
Okay, good. Anything else going on in your life?
That's probably the main thing.
That's the main thing. There's no other nothing else.
Hey, you could say other things, but it's all basically comes down to this.
Everything with your wife is rosy.
You know, we have our ups and downs, but it's normal.
Yeah, but it doesn't cause you any type of inner strife.
There were in the earlier years.
Earlier years
it
it
was,
did.
but I think Baruch Hashem, we're in a different place now.
Okay, good. Okay, thank God. How much time do you spend thinking about the fact that you don't have enough money to buy that house, and you want to and you can't?
So I don't spend time thinking about that per se, but I just spend time about thinking money.
Okay, so I'm
About
asking
making
you.
money.
Okay, again, and if I told you in 3 years you're gonna have a house,
Mhm.
you're gonna have the house that you want.
Okay.
How much would you pay to feel like that and not have to worry about making money?
Whatever. Sure,
And how much
How
time?
much time
How
would you
much time would
spend?
you spend during the day to acquire that feeling?
yeah, for sure.
No, I'm asking you. Don't say for sure. Don't say Emmett. Just tell me.
Then it comes down for sure. An hour a day is definitely totally worth it.
Would 2 hours would the day be worth it? How much time do you spend running after money?
Nice chunk of my day from 12 to 7.
Very good. Okay, so you spend a large part of your day doing it. And if you spent 1 hour a day and 1 hour less doing that,
An hour a day.
and during the next 6 hours, you could go work or whatever it is, and you don't worry at all the entire time. You just sit there and you're happy.
You do worry because you do it, both do it, and then you go back. And
No, wait for you.
If you think about it, I'm also working. You know, there's a physical.
Forget about the
that
work. Forget about the work. I'm asking you, when you go to work, if you had no stress at all, you're just going like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. This is what I'm doing now. I'm going to be here and I'm going to da. And it makes smile on my face.
Robot.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. Can you do this? Yeah, sure. Oh, I'm so sorry. It didn't work out. Hang up the phone. And you go back and you keep going. How much would you spend time during a day that you could actually feel like that? I don't have to worry about things working out, not working out. I don't have to hustle. I don't not have to hustle. I just have to go work and everything is fine and everything's going to take care of itself. Hashem's going to give me everything that I'm yearning for. How much time would you spend a day in order to feel like that?
I would put the next amount of time in for sure. An hour.
At least.
Make you happy, yeah. Okay.
At least.
But why does it have to be an hour? Why does it have to be an hour?
I get his question. You know what he's saying? Let's say a guy is working out, right? He needs to do a certain amount of sets. It takes him 30 minutes to do it, and then that's sufficient.
So that's what I'm telling you. It takes 1 hour to get the work set done. That's what you need.
Because there's a warm up, there's a stretching, there's a lot that's involved in the workout.
But what if I can talk to Hashem in half an hour? And I can,
You can't.
whatever I want to say, I can say in half an hour.
I would agree with you, but you can't because Rabbeinu says not like that.
Sure you could. I'm
What are
so
those
bored
steps?
sometimes after I'm done. I just sit there. There's nothing to say
There's at the
anymore.
chief.
The reason is because you're not yet pure.
That's fine.
Okay.
So at least let me do a half an hour.
Do whatever you want to do. I'm not your
You said an hour
daddy.
has to-
You know, you do whatever you want to
are my
do.
daddy.
Yeah, I'm not your daddy.
1 second. You
Your
said
daddy.
you said it has to be an hour. You said it has to be an hour.
I know, because Rabbeinu says that. I don't say anything.
You're
I don't know
saying it.
Are there
nothing.
any other rabbis that say something else?
Oh,
I don't
you-
care.
About
I don't
anybody
care.
else.
I don't care. I don't care.
So
I
better
want-
not to do a half an hour?
No, to go do a half an hour. But have in mind, I want to get to the hour I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I spent also like that, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do, but you don't realize that the entire exile is the fact that you can't speak. The whole fact that you're bored is the exile. Do you understand why?
No.
Because Hashem is listening to you. If you really thought that, you would never stop talking.
Right.
That's
Maybe I don't really believe. And
that's good. That's a great thing to bring to your prayer.
because I want hashgacha pratis and I don't see it
So
from going
go-
to the field.
so
All
go-
I see is water and trees and muddy floors.
So stop looking. Close your eyes and go beg and cry to Hashem to see him. Say, I'm not leaving here until you show me you.
Wait, can I ask her a quick question?
1 second,
Yeah, but
before
you
the quick
look
question.
ridiculous.
before the quick question, at some point, a person needs to go put their money where their mouth is. If Hashem really is listening to me and really wants to answer me, for some reason he's not. Why is he not? Because I haven't figured something out yet. Because if I figured it out, he would give it to me. Why would he withhold something from me? It must not be good for me. Why is it not good for me? Because you have not acquired a muna yet. Where's the proof? Because you're having trouble speaking.
But I've had some teasers where
Teasers are good.
you
And
get thrown a little bone.
yes, and that's enough to keep you going.
And then you're like, okay, I could trust for that, but I can't trust for the big home run.
Okay, so you need to spend more time, more effort. Go, listen, no, this Rabbi Nachman says this is like giving birth to a child. Ishtadlut. When you go into the field, did you ever, like you speak to your parents when you're a kid, or even now, if you never really grew up like all of us, and you just scream at them and cry until they give you what you want? Did you ever do that?
No,
Why?
because I don't believe that it can happen.
Okay, that's your problem.
Right.
But Rabbeinu says not like
I'm
that.
telling you it's my
Oh,
problem.
okay, good.
I
So-
don't want it to be my problem.
Okay,
I
good.
want to change
So
it.
tell Hashem, open up my mouth. Help me to speak to you like I would speak to my parents.
Every day I just go there and it's the same repeat.
Okay, so say to Hashem, I need that it's not a repeat now. I want to speak from my heart about what's going on with me. I want to tell you what's happening to me. This is what's happening to me. I can't take it anymore. Close your eyes and get into it. And just go.
Is going up and down the same thing? The same extended descent is the same thing. Like, this is it. Like, the person's having struggles. This is the same concept.
100%, but you don't understand. You're trying to break through to a state of geula. If a person realizes that Hashem is really listening to him, really listening to every single thing that he says, first you need two things. One, you need to believe that Hashem exists. Okay, that's one thing. You need to be honest with yourself. Do you really believe Hashem exists? I am Jewish, but do you really believe that? Okay, maybe I believe God exists. Do I believe He cares about me? Maybe not. Let's say you believe all of that.
Because you look at Teva and you see other people and the way the world works, it looks like there's no God.
That's right.
So then you come into this field and you go there and you ask for things and it seems ridiculous.
That's right.
And then you come back into Teva and you're like, that's not going to help me.
Right.
This is going to help me.
Right.
Wait, how do you come? I come to the opposite conclusion. As you
No.
How
What
do
are you
look
saying?
at
Has
the world
anyone
and
ever
say
told
there's
you
no God?
that
No, what are you
Hashem
saying
was
Same thing
about-
in Egypt happened.
Okay.
Egypt, the people were religious.
Okay. Wait. So what I want to do is we're having a good conversation now. This is a conversation we're gonna have to continue. Gabriel, after Gabriel, you have to. This is called holy boundaries. That means you guys schmooze after the class. Okay, schmooze after the class. We're gonna finish this Likutey Halachot
Let's
right
do
now, and we're gonna dance and sing.
Okay.
Okay. But you need to know something, and then we're gonna move on. You're giving birth to a child. That child is called Emuna. This child is not just any child. Avram Avinu, at the end of his life, that it says he was Zakein, and he had a bat. He had a daughter. What was that daughter called? Emuna. He gave birth at the end of his life.
He gave birth to a daughter named Amuna.
No, she was Emuna.
Who?
He gave birth to Yitzchak. He gave birth to Yishmael. At the end of his life, it said that he had bat. The Gemara, the Midrash says, what was this bat? What was the name of this daughter? They give different names. One was Bat Kol. Okay. What? Okay, good. He got Bat Kol. So the Midrash says that, the Gemara says that in fact he had a daughter named Bat Kol. What's the daughter Bat Kol? Everything? Emuna. That when Yaakov and Esav met, okay, and Esav went in the way of secular world. I live in New York. I'm going to go run after money. And Yaakov said, I'm going to go into the field and I'm going to go into tents and I'm going to go learn and I'm going to go pray. And they went separate ways and they came back to each other at the end of their lives. And Esav said, look how much I have. Yeshli Rav. Look how much I have. And Yaakov responded back to him, Nebach. Yeshli Kol, I have everything. You have a lot, but I have everything. What's the everything he's referring to?
He has Hashem. He has
Amuna. Amuna. I have everything because I have Amuna. You have a lot. That's great. But you know what a lot is in the face of everything? Nothing. You're trying to give birth to a kol. Kol. This is the epitome of what it is to be a Jew. This is the epitome of what you can do in this world. Wait. I spent 30 years of my life worrying, scared out of my mind. I'm not scared of anything now. Things are going well, it's great. Things are not, it's great. I'm not worried. How much would a person pay for that? How much would a person invest to have that? Everything in their life. Because the problem is not the situation. The problem is how you're responding. Nothing about the situation is bothering you. It's the implication of the situation that's bothering you, that this is going to be bad for me. But if there's no such thing, you just simply that it doesn't exist in your heart. It simply doesn't exist in your heart. But that doesn't mean it's not real. You have to go run after it. And the key is Rabbi Nachman. The key is the tzaddik. You have to run after. You have to run after, just like you run after money. The only person who gets to experience it is the ones who runs after Rabbeinu, like a person in our world runs after money. If you run after Rabbeinu like you run after money, you're going to achieve kol. You're going to get Amunah. And if you have Amunah, you have everything. Everything. Because I can tell you for a fact, I know there's people that you guys look up to that have that money, and they are calling me, and I'm going to their houses to do therapy with their families, and they are struggling and suffering under closed doors like you can never imagine in your life. They're not happy. And you're all running to be like them. And they would give up all their money to have what I have, and that's called Amunah. There's no hotter commodity. It's nothing worth more. It's everything. It's everything. If everything in your life was always good and you just didn't know it, but you could know it, what would be better than that? That's ecstasy.
Just in Teva, it seems bad.
Because it's Teva. But there is a point that you will stop. If you run after Rabbeinu like you run after money, you will stop believing in Teva.
That's all I ask for is I only want to live in Hashgacha Pratit.
Okay, good. Do you know how much you have to invest to be able to get to the point that you can literally experience only Hashgacha Pratit?
A lot more time.
A lot more time.
Okay, but I'm doing the best.
You're doing good. I'm not blaming you, but I'm just telling you. A person comes and he says, how much time do I? An hour you do it? That sounds a lot. I have to come to every class you teach 3 times a week. That's crazy. I have to learn every day. I have to go pray. But how much do you run after money? What's the point of the running after the money? Because you want good in your life and you think it's going to bring good to you. So you're running after good. You're not running after money, and you think the money is going to bring you good. You will run day and night. You will think about it constantly because you want good. So if the good is not from the money itself, it's what you think the money is going to bring you. You can go run after the good, and you can have the money and you cannot have the money, and it doesn't make a difference.
If you're good, you're good.
Perfect. If you're good, you're good. If you're good, you're good.
Right. So Barry, if he didn't get that house, but every day he felt good and relied on Hashem, it wouldn't bother him
at all.
Whether he had the house
at all.
Didn't. But let's say his wife is annoying him every day. Barry, when are you going to get me that house? We're growing out of this apartment. We can't move anymore. Why can't you make more money? Everyone else is buying a house.
Very good. But I want to tell you something. When Barry becomes a Baal Emunah, his wife is also going to want that. And Hashem is going to make different situations take place in his life that are going to happen in order that his wife is also going to struggle and is not going to have any answers. And she's going to come to him and he's going to tell her about Amunah. And she's going to be like, Mapitom, what are you talking to me about? Amunah, I'm going to go talk to Hashem. Yeah? And you're going to say, just talk to Hashem a little bit. She goes, no way, definitely not. And then what's going to happen is she's going to meet up with a friend and the friend is going to tell her, by the way, I started doing this thing called Hibodedut, and I talked to Hashem and I feel so much better. She's going to come back to Barry and be like, I'm starting this thing called Hibodedut. I told you about that a year ago. She's going to say, no, this is something different that you told me. Nobody can avoid this. Every person at the end has to do this. Hashem will make them through whatever means necessary, whether it's withholding a house, whether it's withholding health, whether it's withholding a wife, whether it's withholding kids, whether it's withholding peace of mind, whether it's withholding whatever. Hashem is not cruel. Hashem will not bring us down to this dark, difficult world and not give us the good. And the good is Amunah. And who's going to teach us that? It's going to be somebody named David HaMelech. Why? Ki haya yodea nagen, because David knows song. The pasuk says that David knows song. What does it mean? What does it mean that David knows song? David knows song. What does it mean that David knows song?
So good. So good.
It should say he knows how to play music. It should say he's good at playing music. What is it? Oh!
Barry, you're growing.
What does it mean, Yodea Nigun? Listen.
I get it.
No,
you
don't.
Get it.
You don't know nothing.
You're right.
It's just as good as David knows song.
But by the way, you're right. You're right about what you said. But listen to what he says, because the pasuk doesn't mean Yodea no. Like we're talking about David here, the soul of Mashiach. Who the Torah is now. It's talking about different qualities about David. One of them is that he knows song.
Who knows song?
He knows song. You know, and otherwise it says about him, he's gibor, he's strong, and he's this and he's that, and he knows song. He knows song. What does that mean? Rabbeinu Zal says his knowing is called music. The way he experiences the world is a nigun. And what do we say is the ability for a person to make a nigun, is to make a song, is that he's able to extract good from the bad, light from the dark. By being able to constantly look at dark but find good, that's how you play music. Because Rabbeinu teaches that when you have a guitar and you have an instrument and you want to play music, what are you doing? You're picking out the good notes from the bad notes. So the fact that he knows song means that his consciousness works in a way that's different than the rest of the world. The rest of the world sees darkness or it sees light. David sees darkness, but he's able to see light in every single piece of darkness. Yodea Nigun, he knows song. His whole knowing is called a song. He sees the world in a way of extracting good from the dark. Kikol limun hakadosh, l'chapes hatov l'chayot et atzmo, because he's able to find and to enliven himself with this good because he knows song. His whole way of thinking is a zamra. Kol zehu bechina nigunim kadoshim, because this is the level of holy songs. What is a holy song? It's the kinnor that's above David's bed. Why does he know song? Because of the harp that's above his bed. Why? Because the harp that's above his bed is the 5 strings. And Rabbeinu Zal teaches the 5 strings are connected to the Torah, meaning what's hovering over him is good. He has this Torah which is hovering over him, which Moshe didn't have. Why didn't Moshe have it yet? Because there wasn't Matan Torah. But now there's Matan Torah, and you would think, okay, great. The issue is that Moshe experienced infinite light. But now David is experiencing infinite darkness. But he has one thing Moshe didn't have. Torah, the kinnor. The giving over of the Torah. Meaning the revelation of light in the dark. And he had it hovering over his bed. Meaning his mind was a song. He woke up in the night, in the middle of the night, because he always saw the good in the dark. And he paid attention only to that good. That's what it meant that he knew song. And because of that, a zamra, he woke up at midnight. That's bechinat ura. I woke up, I was aroused, hanevel v'chinor, with the harp and the lyre, a'ira shachar. It was the dawn that awakened me. What do we say shachar mean? Yeah, but what kind of dawn is dawn? That's the beginning of the light in the dark. What is the shachar? The shachar is when the sun starts to come up amidst total darkness. The way that it works is it's not like it's getting lighter, lighter, lighter. No, it reaches pitch dark darkness and then light comes out. That's shachar. What was awakening David every morning? The shachar. He was able to, and he was searching constantly for the good in the darkness. This is the reason David was able to always machaven when is the time of chatzot. When is the time of midnight? How come David knew and Moshe didn't know? Because Moshe didn't know the light in the dark. Moshe only knew light. But David, because he had the Torah in the time of exile, and his whole knowing was the concept of a song, he only saw good. He was able to know exactly when midnight is. Why? Because only a person who experiences darkness but is looking for good can know when the beginning of the hope of light is going to come. Only he can know. And this last geula that we're all waiting for, not the geula Mitzrayim, not the geula Rishona, the first one we spoke about, but the geula Achrona, The final geula, the geula we're all waiting for. What type of geula is that? Bichlaliut ufratiyut. The collective geula that we're all waiting for, the time of universal peace, the time of universal truth, the time of health, the time and personal. My issues with parnasa, my issues with health, my issues with my wife, my issues with my kids, my inner demons. That's my personal geula. All of these geulas are dependent on David. Ki David hu Mashiach. Because David is Mashiach. Because in the end, it will be this final geula that is the complete geula. Because Moshe's geula was only a partial geula. What happened to Moshe Rabbeinu when Hashem said, Moshe, I'm going to go send you to save the Jewish people? Moshe said, no, I don't want to go. Why did Moshe want to go? The Midrash said, because you're promising the Jewish people geula. If you send me, it means it's not over. Because you told Yaakov that you're going to take us out. So if you're sending me, it means this is not going to end.
Crazy chutzpah to say that to Hashem. You have to have crazy chutzpah to say it to Hashem.
Or you have to have holy chutzpah.
That's the thing. They're like insane chutzpah to say, no, it's okay, you take care of it.
Or you have to have holy chutzpah. That you have to be so connected to the truth that you have nothing sophisticated about you whatsoever. One of the big reasons people have trouble saying the truth to Hashem is because they're sophisticated, because they're used to spending time speaking to people in a certain way in order to achieve a result and not to be simple. So when you go talk to Hashem, you have a hard time just saying the truth.
People need to understand this much better. The way Moshe Rabbeinu had the insane, I should say the audacity.
No, you say, holy chutzpah.
For lack of a better word.
No, Rabbeinu calls it holy chutzpah.
I agree with
no
you.
No lack of a better word. That's the word, holy chutzpah.
Holy chutzpah. The way he had, people look at it as audacity though.
Yeah, they're wrong.
I'm just saying, the way people could perceive.
So how would you learn the difference?
That Moshe had it in him.
You have to learn it from the tzaddik who gives you lessons about the difference between holy chutzpah and brazenness. And if you don't know the difference, you're never going to feel comfortable to go to the field and start to scream to Hashem.
Is it supposed to be being humble? Is that the same thing?
Comes from humility, yeah.
So the more humble you are,
the more humble you are, the more holy chutzpah you're able to have.
So how do you know the difference?
How do you do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, you're so humble and you say, hey, Hashem.
Because again, that same reason you asked me how Rav Natan says in every single letter, when are you giving me the money?
Yeah.
When are you going to give me the money? So we're like, how do you speak to somebody like that? Usually you say, oh, when you give me in 5 months from now, you told me you're going to do that. I really appreciate if you give it over to me. When a person gets to a point that his whole entire day is spent trying to do good, literally all day and night, and he's toiling in it all day and night from the moment he gets up till he goes to sleep, and there's nothing fake about him. He has no intentions, he has no kavanot, he has no this, he has no that. He gets up when he gets up and he tries to do what Hashem wants. And he tries to do more, and he tries to help Jewish people, and then he learns, and then he prays, and then he spends time with his wife. He has nothing fake about him whatsoever. Only that person is able to now go say, where's the money you asked me for? Well, you told me you were going to give me. Why? Because in his mind, there's no time anymore for all of the other stuff. The other stuff comes when you're busy lying all day and night. So now when I come to you, I'm going to continue that facade. But for a person like Rav Natan, that Rabbi Nachman completely demolished his sophistication. He had none left. He became the simplest human being that could ever live. He literally was simple, simple, simple. You told me that you would give me money. I need that money so I can go bring Geula by giving these teachings to the world. So why do I have to sit here and tell you, by the way, you said like this and X, Y, and Z? Only a person who has time to do that has time to do that. But a person who has no time to do that, he doesn't have time.
If he has such a why do you have to depend on another person?
It's not about being dependent on another person. It's about being real. When a person's not sophisticated anymore, I don't have to speak about things in a certain way. I don't have to talk to a person in a certain way. I have so invested myself in truth, I could just tell you this is what it is. Rav Natan believed, he knew that the Geula is dependent on the teachings of Rabbi Nachman getting out to the world. If a person really believes that, then he's not going to have a problem saying, I need the money you asked, you told me you were going to give me. Why? Because the Geula depends on it. How was Moshe able to speak to Hashem like that? Because he had nothing of himself. Because he had no ego whatsoever. He wasn't worried that I'm going to go out of line, because going out of line means I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. But if I'm doing this for you, there is no wrong reason. I'm going to the Jewish people to save your children. It's not disrespect. You're just Bukharian.
Don't make it sound like Hashem doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, Hashem, you want me to go, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. It's like Hashem knows what he's saying.
So you tell me, you explain to me Avram Avinu fighting for
I was
stone.
about to say that.
You explain to me Moshe Rabbeinu saying, I'd rather you kill me, that you're not going to look just. I want you to explain to me David HaMelech that he keeps saying, Ad Matai, until when are you going to help me? How long is there going to be evil in my life? How long is there going to be bad in my life? You explain all of those things to me. A lot of people say to me this all the time. How can you speak to Hashem like that? I don't know. You tell me how every single one of the people in the Torah spoke like that. How Hannah said, I am not leaving until you give me a baby.
They did Zamra before they did that. They sound like just kids.
Okay, so explain it to me. Explain it to me. But you can't, but you cannot, you can't say we can't talk to Hashem like that, and yet the entire reason we believe in Hashem is because of these people who spoke to Hashem like that. And Rabbeinu Zal says you can't even believe in Hashem unless you speak to Hashem like that. You can't truly have a moon in Hashem unless you speak to Hashem like that. And the final geula, which is the final geula, the last geula, which is the final geula, that there's no geula after that, meaning there's no exile after that. That final geula ends with Mashiach. Mashiach is David. Because the whole essence of the geula is going to come in the merit of song, in the merit of Azamra. And the only person who has the entire bucky of Azamra is David HaMelech, is King David. Because David is the one who goes down into the darkness. He's the one who suffers more than anybody in the whole world, and he finds good. So how can he not teach the world? If he went down to Gehenna, the greatest Gehenna that ever was, and he found good, how can he not bring everybody else who didn't suffer as much in him to find the good? He becomes the king of Azamra. And that's the whole reason Hashem sounds him down to those places. Because you can believe him. You could be somech on him, because he was in Gehenna. And he can tell you, Azamra, there's good. And he becomes the one who knows song. He knows song. Bechinat Mashiach Elokei Yaakov u'Naim Zemirat Yisrael, because the pasuk that David's life ends with, the final pasuk of David's life in Shmuel, where it says Mashiach, the Redeemer of the God of Yaakov, u'Naim Zemirat Yisrael, the sweet singer of Israel. What's the connection between these two things? You're the Mashiach, you're the one who's going to redeem the Jewish people, and at the other time, you're a really sweet singer. What's the connection between these two? Okay, great. You're a sweet singer, so say it in another pasuk. Va, when you have a vav, it means these two things are connected, Chazal say. So comes Rabbi Nachman, Rav Natan to teach you, the reason he's the Mashiach of the God of Israel is because he's a sweet singer. Does that mean he had the greatest voice in the generation? No. It means that he was able to pick out all of the light in the dark. And by the way, that's not just in the world. That's in the person himself. It's the ability of David to find every single person, and everybody threw him out and said he's no good, there's no hope for him. And he never gives up on that person. Why? Because it must be light in that darkness. How does he know that? Because he is the greatest light in the darkness. And everybody gave up on him. He gave up on him. And he still got out.
This whole
But wait, I want to finish, then we're going to go to questions. Hainu ayodei bechinat azamra, meaning through azamra. Yeah. Bimhira v'yameinu. Amen. That it should be soon in our days. And this is how Rav Natan ends. And then we're going to have questions, and then we're going to sing and dance, because we finished the very first halacha in Likutey Halachot Bezrat Hashem. Next week, we're going to start the next one. The next one. It's a huge thing. You should know, I heard Rav Natan said, you should never learn something like this one day, and you shouldn't sing and dance after that. It's chaval. You missed out. If you go out and you're like, wow, that was geschmack. Why aren't you singing and dancing? Why are you waiting for the check? You had a check right now. Go enjoy. Don't keep waiting for good things to happen. Enjoy the good. Rav Natan ends this whole thing by saying, please understand these words that we spoke about well. Because it's impossible for me to explain all of this in full. Meaning there's no way for me to possibly, besides what we did here, tell you the true power of Azamra. I told you Mashiach is going to be the king of it. I tell you the Geula is dependent on it. And still Rav Natan saying it's impossible for you to truly understand what a Zamra is. Rak kol echa b'fi ma she'over alav kol yemei chayav. Only that a person, according to himself, in the days that have passed in his life, the days of his youth, and the days of his elderly, you should know with this one teaching of a Zamra, if you really chop it, if you really internalize it, if you really understand it, you're able to enliven yourself with it always. Al pi kol shedavarenu ela, through these words that we just said. Shemivarim ketzat amitat ha'etza va'alimun hakadosh shel Zamra l'okei be'odi. That we clarified a little bit of the truth of the eights of this holy learning of a Zamra Elokei B'odi. I'm going to sing to Hashem with that little bit of good that's in me. She's Hiranu Admor. Like was vigilant Rabbi Nachman, our master, our Rebbe, to teach us and to hammer into us that you need to carry this around you at every moment of your life. You should put it in your pocket, a Zamra, and you need to look at it once a day. That he was makpid when he wasn't makpid on anything, to tell us you need to write out a Zamra and stick it in your pocket, and you need to look at it once a day. Your entire life depends on it. Your entire redemption depends on it. Me'od me'od elechba. Very, very, very much to walk with a Zamra, he told us. Ashrei sheyoches bo. Happy and fortunate is the person who chapped what we just said. Okay? Have any questions before we sing?
This is the foundation of the whole Judaism.
That's why he's starting Likutey Halachot with it. Very good. That's what I'm not trying to say.
How could it be that if you...
Let's go with Benjamin. He said he had a question. We're going to go around the bends.
This whole concept of a Zamra, is the
After.
whole world and how we view it only coming from what's being projected from our brain? Because if we say Hashem, which is the truth, does everything good, and we can't cop that, it's not something wrong with Hashem, it's something wrong with us. So therefore, our reality is being projected out into the world.
Yes.
And because we can't see that whole Inyan, we're taking Hashem out of the picture.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Emmett. And what's the key, David? What's the key to David, you have to stop. What's the key to what's the word? Having a cognitive shift. What's the key to come off your phone for a few minutes? Almost done. What's the wait? You had a question. You wouldn't have been on your phone for your question. Benny has a question. Yes, of course it would. How would you ask me a question and be on your phone at the same time?
I would have zoned out.
Yes. Okay. He's saying the whole shift. What's the entire mental shift that needs to take place? The cognitive shift that needs to take place through a Zamra.
So this whole Torah is to take the brain that
your distorted, your distorted perception of reality, and to create a shift in perception. This was the first thing, by the way. I got an email from somebody right after we started Sion. He said, I've been learning Rabbi Nachman's teachings for a long time. Much longer. He didn't say this, but much longer than you. I saw him in Uman. He's a dedicated follower. He has a family. Yeah. He doesn't look like anything different than any of us. He's very humble, but he really has been involved in this a long time. And he said, you're presenting Rabbi Nachman's teachings in a way that I never saw before. And that is in a way of da'at. Meaning he's saying it seems like what you're really trying to convey is that all suffering is actually coming from a distortion in perception and not in the reality itself.
Right, because the reality itself is everything is Hashem.
Yes,
we just can't feel that.
Yes.
So it's not a blemish with Hashem.
It's a blemish with our perception of that reality, which Rabbi Nachman says that blemish lies in your heart. That blemish lies in your heart. And therefore the tikkun is in your heart. And that's why Rabbi Nachman says, why is it so hashgacha pratit that I ended up in a city called Breslov? Because it's basar lev, because the prophet says that at the end of time, the entire difference between the galut and the geula is that the heart of stone is going to turn into a heart of flesh. How is that going to bring the geula? Why? Because I have a hard heart and now it's going to be flesh and now everything's... Yeah, because the hard heart is what's distorting your ability to see good in your life because your heart is a heart of stone. However, when through Rabbi Nachman's teachings, your heart of stone is turned into a lev basar, a breslev, a heart of flesh, that's called geula. Any other questions?
When you do Hitbodedut and you ask Hashem for the things that you need, because it will allow you to be able to daven and learn with more clarity, and also daven and learn more than you would be able if he didn't give you those things. Why isn't he complying? You're asking for those things so that you could do more ruchniya stuff.
Because there's a concept of the world teaching you, when you see it, you'll believe it. Rabbi Nachman says, the truth is, when you believe it, you'll see it.
When you believe it, you'll see it.
Yes.
Not when you see it.
Yes.
You believe it.
Yes. This is a very, very important thing that everybody here has to understand, everybody watching online. And this is something that I had to learn the hard way. We are taught, when you see it, you'll believe it. Rabbi Nachman says, when you believe it, you'll see it. So what does that mean? That means the reason you haven't gotten it yet is because you don't believe in Hashem yet. It's not law of attraction. No, don't. No, I don't want you to secularize this thing. No, don't diminish this. This is the deepest thing in the world. Rabbi Nachman teaches, and it comes from Kabbalah, right? The highest level is called Keter. The next level is called Chokhmah. The level called Keter is called Amunah, to believe in good without seeing it, because at that level everything is good. And then at the next level, you have Chokhmah. Chokhmah is the beginning of your ability to experience good. Chokhmah is the revelation of what's in Keter, but you can experience it now. That's the good. You see the good. Chokhmah is see. Like it said about Adam and Chava, their eyes opened, right? And they were able to see, and Rashi says that they achieved Chokhmah. So seeing is Chokhmah. That's the good. But Keter gives birth to Chokhmah. Amunah gives birth to the revealed good. You first need to believe in the good before you experience the good. And what's the proof of your belief in the good? That hour of people, that's the proof. If I'm going to spend an hour of my day at least, that he says at least, praying and begging Hashem for this thing, to see it, that's the proof that I believe that it's going to come from Hashem. And then through that zchut, you will see it. And the reason Hashem doesn't do it the other way is because it doesn't work the other way. Because that would take the entire mahut, the entire essence of the Torah out. Because the entire gadlut of the Torah is amunah. Why does the Torah start with Bereshit bara Elokim?
Because it's something that you can't see.
Why doesn't it start with a scientific proof of how the world was created? Why does it start with a story? Because the story you have to believe.
So we have to ask Hashem to see good.
You have to believe in the good before you see the good.
Say, make me believe in the good.
Your belief, yes, help me believe in the good. Help me believe in the good. Help me believe in the good. You have a question? Yes, the dawn. The beginning of the light in the dark. Very good. Beautiful.
Is that what you were saying about doing tikkun chazot?
Yes, and Tikkun Chazot is coming up next. Okay, we're going to speak about Tikkun Chazot. 1 second. Do you have any questions?
A zamra, I guess. How do you better yourself at a zamra?
Spend more time doing it.
Yeah, but what are like good you can spend more time. Okay, I'm gonna spend this 15 minutes just only do a zamra. No, like what's like a good way to do it? Because you feel like I feel like the whole thing, if you don't have a zamra down path, I feel like everything else, once you have a zamra down path, everything else is much easier. If you don't have that,
yes, you're right.
It just it gets
yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Sit down.
Can I give him that paper?
Yeah, he's going to give you a paper.
Can I have one also?
Mike has them. So we have papers that one of my students wrote out where he, after a year of doing this and investing himself in this and spending an hour every single day doing it, he wanted to come out with what he felt was just a set way that a person can go to the podium and have an hour worth to talk about.
Oh, that paper, we have that. I took a picture of that.
Did you look? Yeah, but did you look at it?
I didn't pay attention to
Okay, so you should look at it. You should look at it. And you can send it to him.
It's okay to look at it and talk to Hashem at the same time?
Sure, why not? Okay, I want to say one last thing, and then we'll stop. 1 second. No, David, you have to stop. You have to stop. No. Okay? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Every question that you have, that you would ask me, Ask Hashem.
Write it down too.
Ask Hashem. People ask me things, and I ask them, do you talk to Hashem about this? They say, no, why would I ask Hashem about this? And you miss the whole hippolyte. If you think to yourself, I would love to speak to David about this, I want you to ask Hashem, help me to love to speak to you about this. Because I'm just a person. And everything that I got from Rabbeinu, and everything I got from Hashem. And I'm nothing. And I don't mind that maybe Hashem gave me a good eitzah for you, but you know who has the best eitzah for you? Hashem.
Our Father.
So ask Hashem, help make sure that the eitzah you give me is the eitzah.
Still ask David, but first ask Hashem.
Yeah.
Then ask David. Not ask David and then just don't ask Hashem.
What you need, the whole entire essence of David is that the final Geula is going to come in the merit of Hashem being the Mashiach. Hashem's going to be the Mashiach the last time. Who's the one who can teach you that when you don't see Hashem anywhere? Only David. And by the way, just a last point, why is it David? Okay, so it's brought down in Kabbalah that why David as opposed to Moshe, why David as opposed to Av, like all these people, what is it about David, Badavka? So if you're going to say it's because he was anointed with the oil, we know Aaron was also anointed with oil. But right? But we don't call him Mashiach. So it's up.
Water or something maybe?
No. So the reason is because of something very deep. And that is that David Melech is Adam Rishon. Because the Arizal teaches that David is really Adam. And because the original Chet was because of Adam, he needs to be the tikkun for it. David, because he is Adam. And Hashem always makes it that the person who causes the issue, Hashem gives him the zchut to be able to fix it. Yeah, really, he gave himself 70 years of life. Okay? Meaning he was given 1,000 years. How can you change what Hashem gives? You can't, but you can reapportion it to 70 years of another person who's really your Gilgul.
Is it Gilgul or really physically him?
It's his Gilgul.
The Gilgul.
Gilgul is not physical, it's
Spiritual.
Yeah, I'm saying it's his soul is Adam's soul. I understand, but all of the people who, so to speak, were the beginning of the tikkun for Adam, they are partial rectifications for him. The complete tikkun, meaning the complete, the complete fixing, but also the complete gilgul, meaning the complete reincarnation of Adam is David. He is mamish Adam.
So he completed him already. He finished the tikkun. But it's not finished.
I know.
Here.
Yes, so he needs to finish it.
But you said he needs to finish it. He already finished it.
He didn't. He did his part in the middle of time. He did his part in the beginning of time. Adam is the beginning of David. David is the middle of David. And Mashiach is the end of David. It's a 3-part Geula.
Yeah, we see it soon.
Amen. Amen. Wait, last thing. With Hashem's help, with all your prayers, we do have Joey Newcomb for Saturday night. I need to ask you, please, you have to come. Please bring your wives. You have to come.
Is it going to be separate seating?
Yes, we're going to have separation. You have to come. You should bring your girlfriend. If you have a girlfriend and you're dating, I'm serious, because one of the reasons why the girlfriend or the wife is not machavin or is not a fan of your hipodadut, your breast love, your spiritual thing is because they didn't hear me talk about it yet. A lot of those people, when their wives hear me talk about it, they start.
So you're preparing a speech for it?
Not specifically for them, but when your wife or your girlfriend hears it from a person outside of the husband, it does a world of wonders. From a person who is living it and they're matzliach, that for them is proof that it works. But when you're doing it and you're trying to bring it over to them, so I'm just telling you, there's a very big ability here. Yes, hashpah that comes from the rabbi, the person who's living with it, giving it over to that person, more so than the person himself. A good opportunity for that. And we need to listen to me, Barry and Ellie, you need to do whatever you can. I'm telling you right now, the Geula depends on it, and I'm serious. You need to do everything you can to apply the influence that Hashem gave you and to bring your friends.
You hear that?
You need to do it. You need to do it. And don't call me after and tell me you have cases for this and cases for that and this for that, because the Geula is going to come in the merit ultimately of this. These are little tiny things, and even though they're big things for those families,
I want to tell you something.
yes.
When I was younger, I used to have friends that were not well, and I used to pay for their therapy.
Okay.
And I realized that they never really got what they needed out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could bring and pack this place up, but you won't have repeat customers.
I don't care.
They have to want to do it.
I'm not.
Just bring them.
This
Your
is
job
not.
is
This
to
is
bring.
not a business. I don't care about money. I don't care about.
I didn't mean
No,
to use the
no,
word chashon
no,
customers.
no,
I meant they're gonna come very nice and leave.
Good.
You saw I brought people here and they just leave.
Yofi, good. You have
Can
to.
you give me a massage?
There's something very important that you need to know that Rabbi Nachman teaches. Rabbi Nachman teaches you're in control of one thing, what you choose. Everything after that is not in your hands at all. Listen, Benny has a job. He is the promoter and the recruiter for Zion Bresla project. Probably everywhere he's worked, it's dependent on how many people come. I don't care at all about how many people come. I care about how hard Benny's trying to make that happen. Because I know his only free will is what he tries to do. But if he tries really hard and 3 people come, that's what Hashem wanted. That's not his fault. And I don't care. I'm very happy. It means he did a great job. I understand that that's not the way that the Teva looks at the world, but that's a sheker. Hashem,
I beg people to come here.
good. Beg and pray to Hashem. Hashem, please beg and pray.
I first need the chizuk from Hashem to make me see it, to be able to promote better.
You don't need to do that.
Yes, I do. I
No.
test Hashem.
Okay, good. So fine. So go to Hashem in the
He's
field.
learning
But I'm
already.
telling you right now, you have many people in this community that are suffering and you don't even know it. Okay.
Barry was suffering before I got him.
And you were suffering before we got you.
Every-
100%.
My biggest suffering is it. What are you talking
I
about?
know.
We're all struggling, okay? We have an ability to do something very, 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 very special.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay.
I promise you.
I agree with you. Okay, so now
you know how I feel
yes,
about this.
okay, so now do what you can. And by the way, you should know this is the highest level of tzedakah. That when you
Save
get
a life.
no, because what would the tzaddik do with the tzedakah?
You would give it back to the person.
He would use it in a way to bring these teachings to more people. So if you bring people to the teachings, that's the essence of the tzedakah. And there is no that's what he would have done with it. So the essence of tzedakah is to bring people to the teachings. So if you bring these transformative Geula Dika teachings to the world, you have just achieved the highest level of tzedakah, and you haven't even seen all the Torahs that Rabbeinu Zal says on giving tzedakah to the tzaddik, and how many blessings that come from
So
it.
what do you want? What are you asking for right now?
Pack the place with Jewish people. Pack the place with Jewish people. Don't worry about what happens after that. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about, are they going to like it? Are they going to enjoy it? Are they really going to? Don't worry about that. That's not your
Of course
chiyuv.
the rabbi's gonna get that.
No, you don't. You just, your whole thing is, let me rely on Hashem. Be somech on Hashem. This is what I can do.
Seder.
Good. Saturday night, 9 p.m. Malava Malka, come, and we're going to have an amazing